Hey, it's Amethyst Virgo. I'm back with Sagittarius season and the horoscope. So I'm gonna be 100% honest. I did not prep for this video really. I've scripted out a little bit, but not a lot. So I'm just gonna go freestyle on this. So a lot of times I might wait to post the horoscope videos, though I know it's best, especially with content creation, to be timely. And I don't necessarily post things like on the strike of midnight, Sagittarius season video is done, or the strike of midnight, Scorpio season was done. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I have the time to do it. But I also know that sometimes it's better for me to wait to do things, because when I wait, there's usually a reason for that. And so Sagittarius, we all, if we're on this channel, we know what Sagittarius energy brings about. If not, we know we have keywords like truth and purpose and journey and discovery and knowledge and, being very direct with your message and being very adventurous in terms of what life can offer. Those are some of the key expansion, those things, right, from Jupiter. But I also received some, not even downloads. It was just things that occurred in the past 2 days. So even before season shifts, sometimes you can see hints of what that season might be about. And so the key here for Sagittarius season I'm going to speak to is searching. I had situations happen where I wasn't looking for anything, but I had to search things. Like I had to, in terms of just even cleaning, right? Cleaning up. And then I'm like, oh, that's where that went. Or cleaning up and finding there's something I need to fix. I didn't even realize I had to fix something. But sometimes when you like lift the covers up, you see what's really there. Or you weren't even intending to have to go down the rabbit hole, but then by looking at something or seeking something, you're like, oh, there's more to this. That is what you need to think about with Sagittarius energy, Sagittarius season. There's more to this, right? So in terms of this season, that is the things I want us to start to think about. Okay, so as you know with horoscopes, use whatever, go to whatever makes sense to you. If you're a person that rocks hard with your rising sign or sun or moon, whatever, I do say there is merit in looking up the horoscope of any planet, any planetary placement that is the most significant to you. If you are highly impacted by your moon sign, you might want to check your moon sign. And then of course, understand where that energy lies in your chart. So we're going to start with Aries. So of course, Aries energy in astrology makes that trine to Sagittarius. At the same time, it will depend on your chart. So at some point, Aries is going to directly trine. If you're an Aries have an Aries placement, it is going to directly trine by degree the Sagittarius sun. So it's up to you to kind of track that, know when it will happen. But Aries, we know that fiery energy, you tend to act, you tend to strike while the iron is hot. Sagittarius season allows for you to then think a little bit more intentionally about your actions, about your activities. Understand what you're receiving, right? A lot of times there is this go, 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 go mentality. Even with Venus being Libra, Pluto being Capricorn right now, there's eventually going to be some squares as well. And so those planets could be reminding you to find what you truly like and value and are willing, if we look at Pluto, to put your energy into really becoming, right? So for Aries, this is a good contemplative time. Of course, there's still action. This is fire energy. Also, Mercury is in Sag and Mars is in Sagittarius right now. So for you, if you are someone who these placements are eventually, again, they've trined or will trine your Aries energy in your chart, it is about leading with intention and purpose and truth, not just doing things just to do it. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes Aries is that spark. It's that I don't need to think and contemplate about it. Sometimes action has to happen, but this season is a little bit different for you. Now, Taurus is energy, as we know, that is quincunx to Sagittarius. So it doesn't quite always feel natural to you. What I will say is a similarity that we can see between Sag and Taurus is the valuing things, being true to those things. Now, of course, Sagittarius is more loud with that. It leads more with that message. Taurus is just a state of being. Like, this is my comfort zone. This is where I am. You can come with me. You don't have to. Like, it is what it is kind of energy. So I would definitely say with Taurus, it is also about allowing yourself sometimes to feel that discomfort when you do have to do things that require more of a journey. Everything can't be experienced in our comfort zone. It's just not possible. And so Sagittarius energy reminds you of the need sometimes to get out there and to experience new levels to the things and people and situations that you value and that you want to really protect, and the things that you really feel are a significant part of your life. And so it also could bring about unexpected situations where you are like kind of forced out of your comfort zone, but in a way in which you're gaining more knowledge, you're gaining more insight, you're getting some, validation for some of the things that we believe and think, because we could live in a bubble our whole life. But when we go into the world and we feel validated, we go out into the world or we go somewhere and we're like, oh, wow, even though I just traveled to the other country, or I went to this other place, or I met this other person, like they have the same style as me, or the same taste as me, or they like the same things. So it is about like opening up a little bit more during this season, or experiences may come about that kind of nudge you to do those things. Now, of course, Gemini is the opposite sign of Sagittarius. So for a lot of you, this is a great time to go outside of that locality. Travel might be good for Gemini right now. Though you're not a Sagittarius, a lot of times with Gemini energy, it is about this collecting of things, collecting of information, this really mental process that a lot of you go through. And then it can be good for you sometimes to kind of push yourself in ways in which you are taking the information you have and doing something with it. When we understand you are air and Sagittarius energy is fire, and it is important about really to do something so you can really establish like where you really want to be, what you really want to do. I will say that Gemini has a little bit more, it is objective energy, but Gemini is more open to questioning, but Sag is finding the answers. And so it could be, again, this is opposite energy, where you realize it's not enough to just ask. It's not enough just to research or look. It's not enough just to talk about things. You got to do those things, especially when we look at also the fact that Saturn is in Pisces right now. And depending if you are a low degree Gemini, that is squaring your Gemini energy. And so this is a period or time where you are defining the things that you think in ways that help you move in a direction that's going to set you forth on a different path. And a path where you are then applying the things that you think to action, to purposeful, intentional things and situations. And again, that opposite energy, you feel a little bit more motivated to not just theorize and not just kind of think and not just kind of just express, but it's that expression needs to lead to some type of activity for Gemini during this season. Now, for Cancer, obviously during, Cancer and Sagittarius are quincunx signs. Cancer energy and Sagittarius energy are very different. I can't really, it's not a sign that I would say there's a really no commonalities I can see right now. Except for sometimes a respect and love for history. Sagittarius loves wisdom, loves learning and applying things that sometimes can be historical in nature. We know Cancer is the past. So sometimes you can see that energy that they share. But in general for this season, Cancer, it is about you understanding the fact that there are things that you have yet to see. There are things that you have yet to identify as, become, and experience. And so during this season, we have Cancer energy, right? When we talked about your season and how a lot of it was about you, creating that space for yourself to be, happy with the things that you are pouring into, right? Cancer is great at nurturing what is in existence, the things that is creating. But Sagittarius is more diving to the things that are out external, but you're more internal. And so during this season, it is an opportunity for you to, even if you have Sag placements or you don't, it is more for you to engage and see, are there other things outside of your control, outside of your, your everyday life, outside of your commitments that you can equally put some type of energy and nurturing into? Sagittarius brings about journeys, adventures. Doesn't have to mean everybody's going on some world tour. I want to make that clear. Sag energy doesn't mean for every single person you're going to go travel the world, but it does bring about, you're seeking knowledge, you're seeking experiences. And so if you feel more emboldened during this time to seek outside of that zone, to seek those experiences, to seek those journeys, because you might be bored. Some of you Cancers might be bored right now. You're like, okay, I know where I stand, where I know where I am, but you know, I need to find something else, especially with that square with that Venus and Libra right now, which is squaring a lot of Cancers who are at the 18th degree. Right now, Venus is at the 18th degree. So if you are a Cancer energy person and you're within that 18th degree, you're within that 20 degrees, right? You're within that, you're even within 10 or whatever, you might be feeling a sense of kind of just like you're trying to identify the things that you truly value and want, because a lot of times you pour into things and you feel like, well, they didn't pour back into me, but it's like sometimes you have to seek additional things. Remember, Sagittarius is about excess. It's about that expansion. So see where you have room for that in your life. Leo. So of course, fire sign energy, Leo is eventually going to, you know, in the transits, Sagittarius either already transited and trined your energy or will, especially with the Sun, Mars, and Mercury currently in Sagittarius. That Mercury is at a later degree of 21. But if we think through this, so Leo, it is about, now that you know, your season came and passed, obviously, when we talked a lot about you and being yourself and not being afraid to show up, right? Which you usually aren't. But with Leo placements, the importance here of the Sag energy is about now, how does the things that you are add to a greater purpose, a greater collective, right? This could be a time where you might find some of you are even, you're adding to something. You're becoming a part of something. You're being invited to be a part of something. And it could capitalize on your talents that you already have. But I wouldn't be surprised if during Sagittarius season, there is something you are involved in that is greater than yourself, that is for some type of cause or purpose. It is for some type of, even if it's like a learning experience, even if it is some type of like, you know, experience that requires you to belong to something where you're fighting or you're organized around the same type of cause or calling. And so though I know Leo energy leads with self, it leads with what it is that you're good at. Remember, Sagittarius is when the fire energy becomes more connected to universal concepts of other people, other organizations, cultures, communities that are outside of just ourselves and where people already validate us. Sagittarius requires us to sometimes go outside of where we are already solidified and kind of seek opportunities that are outside of that zone, opening ourselves up. So that's a great time for Leo energy. Leo placements is, you know, get out there, spread your message, but make sure it's purposeful. People don't always just want to hear about you all the time, right? Like, you know, we know that some of you are very open with who you are and how great you think you might be. And again, I say that kind of low key, you know, joking. You know, as someone who has Leo placements, mine are in the 12th house. So I like acknowledgement, but I'm not a showy person. It's not about attention for me. But we already know that you're great, but what can you contribute to, Leo? So that's something to think about during this season. If you are called to do that, like how can you contribute to something outside of yourself that is just as meaningful and purposeful as the things you already know that you can do? Virgo. So Virgo, we know squares Sagittarius. Okay. You might feel, again, if the square is going to be in your chart, depending on the degree. If you are a lower degree Virgo, that square is happening right now, right? The Sun and Mars in Sagittarius are squaring you. Now, what it can mean for you, though, is you feel more spontaneous. You know, squares do have a way of jolting you, and you might not feel quite like yourself fully. But for you, it can mean you're less content with doing the regular things you have to do. You can feel, it can put you off a little bit where you are more attending to the greater, bigger things in your life right now. Now, of course, that can, you know, you don't want to avoid taking care of the things you need to take care of, but this is to create in you an energy that you don't always have. You don't always know how to do things on the spot. You don't always know how to seek. And you could be a Virgo that already has Sag in your chart where you're already used to that. Right, so some Virgos, if you already have Sag Moon, Sag, you know, rising or something of that nature, you might already, or like a personal planet, not personal, I'm sorry, the outer planet conjunct your ascendant or something like that, you might already know, right? You already feel this energy. But for a lot of Virgos who don't have Sag energy, it could feel a little bit jolting. It could feel a little bit unfamiliar to you. But the point here is to allow yourself to see the magnitude of the things that you're capable of and the things that you're involved with. Virgo focuses a lot on micro level, tending to things that we can see. But Sagittarius is energy that it's about the adventure. It's about exploration. It's about the journey. And so it is at this time important for Virgo to recognize those opportunities in your own life. Like, what journeys are you going to? Where are you headed? Look at the bigger picture. Get inspired. All the stuff you're tending to, you got it, right? Like, Virgo tends to not slack on their responsibilities even when they don't feel like doing them. So you can allow for a little bit more spontaneity into your life. Okay. Libra. Okay, so Libra doesn't have too tough of a time during Sagittarius season unless there's, some squares going on because in your birth chart towards the energy, because there's a sextile energy between Sagittarius and Libra. So you don't feel out of your element all that much. And it could be a relief for some of you because, Scorpio season was a little bit intense. And also, you do also have, after Sag season, you have Capricorn season coming up for you, and Libra squares Capricorn. So, embark in enjoying this season. But with Sagittarius season, it is about understanding where you are. What is the greater reason behind a lot of the things that you're involved in? Libra, the partnerships, the congeniality, you enjoy just having pleasant experiences with people. You prefer, if possible, to be on good terms. But also with Sagittarius energy, remember, Sagittarius energy is more about the actual experience of what we're learning. What are you gaining? And what have you, does it fit with what your life is? And so allowing yourself to see how the experiences and relationships and things that you have involved yourself, like, what is the greater purpose? What lessons have you learned? There's a great period for you to reflect on those experiences. A lot of times that Venus energy, Venus is the present. Venus is not the past. It's not the future. Venus energy, I would say, is very much in the present. It's enjoying what you have in front of you. But Sagittarius, Jupiter is about seeing forward. Like, let's look forward. Like, what is it that we can, what are we seeking? What are we gaining? What knowledge are we gaining? What are the experiences that we are accumulating? So for Libra, it's about, you might feel more intentional in understanding the purpose behind the things that you're involving yourself in. And it could be positive. I think it could be a positive for many of you. I don't think this is a strain necessarily. I think this is energy that you can capitalize on. I think it is about enjoying what you have and understanding why it's important. Because Libra energy, cardinal energy, and I think Libra energy could be great in that initial comfort. Like, people feel accepted by you, right? Because there's this, for the most part, yes, you can have some Libras that are unevolved. And I have a video about the unevolved signs, all the signs. I have a video. But you want to be cool with everybody. And it's not because you want everybody, some Libras may want people to like them. It's because that's comfortable to you. You don't see the reason to have all these drama and conflict. Doesn't mean some of y'all don't get involved in it, right? But the point is, Sagittarius season allows for you there to be a little bit more of a journey, a purpose, appreciation for where you're headed in these relationships, making an extra step maybe for some of you, right? Capitalizing on that optimism of Sagittarius to understand your purpose and your role within these relationships and these partnerships, so that way you fully understand where you're headed and where you are going and if it feels aligned to what you want. Scorpio. So, we just left your season, right? I think it's very interesting. Energetically, Scorpio season, the past few weeks was really interesting, especially if you pay attention at all to, social media or entertainment world, in terms of these lawsuits, in terms of a lot of these, assault allegations, a lot of, if you pay attention, you know what I'm talking about. And Scorpio is about revealing things that are hidden, that are taboo, that are salacious. We have to remember that Scorpio, all signs have a lot of keywords under them. And if you watch my videos, you know that, right? But Scorpio is associated with regeneration, we know, procreation, genitals, sexual activities, right? intimacy. Those are some of the keywords. Doesn't mean all Scorpios are, you know, that's their focus in life, but that's Scorpio energy, period, right? Read a book, okay? So a lot of these secrets that are coming out from a lot of these high profile people is a result of that. Now, you know, is a result, you know, also Saturn and Pisces. Pisces is about healing. Saturn's about harsh consequences and karma. So that's a whole thing going on there, right? Well, the point that I'm trying to make is, but now Sag season is about revealing things in a blunt way. So now Sag kind of comes at the heels of those things. So what does that mean for you though, right? For you, it is about understanding and embracing the things that are true about yourself. It is about understanding that there are ways in which sometimes, Scorpio, you lock things in. And when you lock things in, it's very hard for those things to come out. Now, Sagittarius season obviously is more robust. It is expansive. It is loud. It is telling everybody, this is what I am, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I stand for, which is very different than your energy, which is more methodical, strategic, calculated, intentional in terms of what you reveal, because everything doesn't need to be revealed, right, at one time. So this is a good season for you to understand the bigger purpose of some of the things that you have experienced in terms of what do you now understand about yourself. It is very easy for Scorpio. One, you know, I think, other water signs tend to have water placements, the intuitive abilities. Scorpio can see under the surface, but Sagittarius is, but look at the surface, because the surface is also going to help you understand how it impacts the under the surface. There's a reciprocal relationship between the things under the surface and the things on the surface, because there's an understanding, or there's an exchange of energy into why we see what we see and why we don't see what we see. And sometimes that merges. And so therefore, for you, it is accepting that contradiction in life. Right? It is accepting and learning to kind of lean in sometimes to those more open theories, those open understandings, like allowing yourself to engage with also being very truthful and speaking your truth. Locking too much in, Scorpio, for too long is not good for anybody. Now, that does not mean you need to get on social media and tell your deep, dark secrets. That's not what this is about, but it is about embracing the Sagittarius meaning of truth and intentionality and purpose in your own personal journey. And what does that look like for you in terms of revealing things that you're comfortable revealing in order for you to really show and feel a sense of, you know, acceptance in terms of being more open with you, who you are, what you want, what you've experienced, in ways that allow for you to take all of that inner stuff going on and exert it out, so that way you're not, you know, taking on too much internally and not giving yourself the opportunity to fully express. Sagittarius. So Sagittarius season, I think what's great for Sagittarius is the way in which there's a lot of Sag energy going on right now. The Sun, Mercury, Mars. And so for you, now, Saturn is in Pisces. Saturn is squares you right now because it's in Pisces. But I think for a lot of Sagittarius people, this season is going to be great for you to fully feel more validated. A lot of times Sagittarius feels like, you know, I've told them, I said that, I told you, you didn't listen to me, right? Sag has a way of commanding an audience, but that doesn't mean every Sagittarius person feels listened to, right? Sagittarius might say something, y'all like, oh, that was too blunt, or that was too much. Or why did they say it like that? But I think a lot of Sagittarius people during the season, especially if you pay attention to entertainment world or any of those things, people are going to feel vindicated during this time, because it's going to be like, well, I told you, right? And so for a lot of you, this is a season where it's okay to kind of like, you know, it's not about I told you so, but I think it's about validation. But I also think for Sagittarius people during the season, it is intentional for you to get a sense of understanding what you have aligned yourself with. Looking at yourself, especially for those of you, the birthdays just started for Sagittarius, and to that, like, what have you learned and accumulated this year? What is different about you this year? Where have you grown? Because now there is, how do you track that pattern and allow for the growth you have to be long-term? We can grow, right? But then something happens and we get right set back on our old patterns, our old ways. And we know Saturn and Pisces and Sag are two signs that have to have direction. That sounds Like weird. Like, what do you mean? Like they're mutable fire, immutable water, right? They're not supposed to have all that much direction because they need to be able to adapt and change. But the point here is that Pisces on their game, on their purpose is inspirational. They are creative. They feel emboldened to share those things. They don't feel like they have to hide away. Sagittarius is messaging to people. Sagittarius is bestowing knowledge. Sagittarius energy is giving people, is mentoring, is helping people understand life on their path. When not on the right path, unevolved Pisces, unevolved Sagittarius don't know what they're doing. And Sag gets involved in anything because it's seeking purpose, but sometimes can seek it in the wrong way. Pisces Pisces doesn't know where it's going, it can follow the wrong way. So that's why I say it's very important for these signs in particular. And so for you, it is, where is my purpose? Where do I now understand where I stand? It's about also growth. I think Sagittarius, I know you have a belief system that you are grounded in, but we have to you have to allow yourself to expand that, right? It's not just about I'm right because I've been thinking the same thing since 2005. It's I think this, and my experiences have led me to understand there's more to it. Okay. Capricorn. Again, I think it's similar to Cancer, but there's not a lot of similarities at all. Because Capricorn likes the method to doing things is this what we do because it has worked for thousands of years, for hundreds of years, for 10 years, right? And Sagittarius is always trying to expand and find inspiration in how to apply what they know to get the job done, right? We're going to use our knowledge, we're going to use our experiences to make decisions. But Capricorn is like, we're going to use the structure, we're going to use the method, we're going to use what is already here, we're going to use what makes sense, right? And so for you, this could be a season where it is a little bit uncomfortable, right? Because you don't quite, the energy doesn't match what you truly are. However, at the same token, I think this is a great opportunity for Capricorn people to use this as a time to understand why you do what you do. I'm not trying to portray I know a Capricorn that's the Capricorn can be, I know a couple Capricorns that are funny. Like they are fun to be around. They can laugh, they can joke. So I don't think all Capricorns are I don't think all earth signs are like what people project in general. Like you can find a lively person in every sign. But people are going to be like their sign in some way. So like everybody's like their sign in some way. It's just, you have to dig deep enough to know. So the point here is that I think the importance of Capricorn is you've been doing things such a long time, a certain way, but have you ever thought about why? Or I'm doing this way because my so-and-so taught it to me this way. Like y'all have a great way of carrying on traditions. My grandmother taught me how to make this Thanksgiving dinner, so I'm going to do it this way, right? But then Sagittarius energy offers opportunity to do something different and energetically do something different. You're not going to stop being a Capricorn. Try a new recipe. Go visit some place that you've never been before. It doesn't have to be out of the country, but it's like, a lot of times this is the way it's always been done, or this is the way that makes me feel like I could be successful. Capricorn, I could be successful. I'm going to do it the way I've always done it because I feel successful doing it that way. But Sagittarius energy can sometimes kind of push you to have to do things in a different way, understand diversity, understand other people's experiences and how that relates to how you relate to them. And so I think that is kind of the message here that I would say for Capricorn. Like, don't be surprised if you kind of have to indulge in something in a way that's very different or foreign to you, but also look at that as an opportunity. Aquarius. So Aquarius, 2 signs apart, means you sextile Sagittarius. And so you don't mind this season, And I think for a lot of Aquarius people, it is going to be a great time for you to really give yourself more opportunities to seek things that add to what you already believe or think, but in ways that set you on your journey. Aquarius can get lost in whatever you're a part of. If it's an organization, if it's a job, if it is a club, if it is a group of people you just hang out with, whatever that is, that you're a part of. And it matches your ideology. Sagittarius energy brings about truth and purpose and journey. And so for you, it becomes more about giving yourself more experiences in what you are doing and how it is adding to what you already sense and know about your own direction, right? Aquarius energy can get locked into ideology and theories and conspiracy theories and all of that. But Sag energy reminds you of the importance of, but go do that experience because you're going to learn something and more about yourself on a wisdom. Look at wisdom. Aquarius can be good with the logistical things of society, the understanding of the events, okay? Libra's air sign. Libra's air sign is the relationship. They understand people. Gemini understands information. You understand events, society. What does that mean, right? And you can get really wrapped up in that. And that's not a bad thing because we need Aquarius energy to kind of be that person who is interested in like understanding society, saying the things that need to be said, doing things in a way that are that's different. But Sagittarius reminds us of the connection, right? We're connecting to people through knowledge, through our understanding. We are doing this so that we have a greater sense of understanding about the world, not just the world we create in which we have all the answers, or we think we have the answers. But Sagittarius is, but we seek more, we want more, we're expanding. So expanding your network, expanding your understanding of something could be a great time for Aquarius. And it won't be too hard because their sextile happens. Again, you have to look at your own birth chart to see what degree you have your Aquarius in and how it's going to impact that Mercury Sag energy, or the Mercury in Sag, or the Sun and Mars Sag energy. Pisces. So you already know, you square Sagittarius, and Saturn's in Pisces right now though. So that's, that could be a benefit to this energy. Squares don't always mean complete chaos. Squares can mean difficulty. It means a challenge. It means something you have to overcome. And so for Pisces, you channel a lot of things internally. You channel a lot of things internally. A lot of y'all take what you feel, and it's not about, I don't want to express that. I'm going to create something, or I'm going to devote myself to something endlessly instead of expressing it, instead of being it. But really, Sagittarius offers you the opportunity to give yourself more options outside of the things that you have locked yourself into, the things that you create your own world. Pisces creates their own. You know any Pisces people? Have you ever seen any Pisces children? They create their own world, and they're safe in that world because it makes sense to them. It doesn't, right? Sagittarius is the world. It's worldly energy. So don't shy away though. We all have to learn these lessons that we have. We're not just a Pisces, we're not just a Virgo, we're not just a Gemini. We have to learn the lessons of all the signs. So for you, it could be great for you to understand, what does the world have to offer me though, right? How can I contribute to the world, or how can I become a part of something in a way where I'm just not locked in my own world? Because I can find that the world actually can validate some of the things that I am. But so often Pisces feels odd, weird, and they handle it differently than Aquarius does, right? Because Aquarius is Saturn, Uranus. Neptune can get lost in its own world, its own way. And so, but Jupiter is about expansion. And so either you'll have opportunities that might knock on your door that you're uncomfortable with, but they can put you on a better path for more experiences. Or you can intentionally utilize Sagittarius energy and say, you know what? I've been afraid to do something. I've been afraid to go do something. I've been afraid to get outside of my own head and just learn more, or go do something that is going to bring me a greater sense of knowledge and understanding, right? And in fire energy is about doing, it's about movement, it's about experiencing. So how do I use this opportunity, this time, to tap into that a little bit more? I don't have to become a Sagittarius person, but I'm tapping more into that side of myself. I'm learning the hard lessons, especially for those of you that need to heal. Saturn in Pisces right now, right? Saturn is in Pisces. So with Sag, it's about truth. And sometimes when we get locked into our own world, we get locked into our own thought. I just said about Scorpio, about something different. But the locking in that water can do, we are ignoring the external things that also give us clues. So this is a great opportunity for you to utilize that and just be open and aware of that.